Dear ones in Jesus Christ, I would like to reflect with you on the theme Freedom of the Disciples. Discipleships begin with belief. The beginning of the discipleship is the moment when a man accepts what Jesus says as true. When a man accepts all that Jesus says about the terror of sin, when a man accepts all that Jesus says about the real meaning of life, then on, a man becomes the disciple of Jesus. Discipleship means constantly remaining in the words of Jesus. What does it mean to remain in the words of Jesus? It involves constant listening to the word of Jesus. As Christians, we need to listen to the voice of Jesus, and they are the one who take no decision until he has first listened to what Jesus says. It involves constant learning from Jesus. The disciple is literally the learner. All his life as Christians should learn about Jesus, penetrating into the truth which the words of Jesus bear. No one can read the words of Jesus once. No one can hear the words of Jesus. To remain in the words of Jesus means constantly study and think about what he said and still saying us until it becomes ours. Dear brothers, we study the Word of God not simply for academic satisfaction, for our intellectual appreciations, but in order to find what God wishes us to do. If we see in the Gospels, Jesus says to the Jews, "If you remain in my word, you are truly my disciples. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." But the Jews answered him, "We are the descendants of Abraham. We have never been the slaves to any man. How do you say we will be free?" But when we see the history of Israel, they were driven to slavery. They were slaves in Egypt, in Babylon, in Assyria, and during Jesus' time, they were still under Roman Empire. Then why did Jews say we had never been slave to man? For Jews, freedom was something great. In the book of Leviticus, chapter 25, verse 39 to 42, a Jew, however poor might be, he should not discern the level of a slave. In this manner, Jews held themselves as free people, and because of this, they said, "We are slaves to none." But Jesus' reply was something different. He was not speaking of the slavery worldly forms, rather something deeper and spiritual. He says, "Everyone who commits sin is a slave to sin." And this was the famous statement of the Greek too. Socrates stated, "How can you call a man free when his pleasures rule over him?" For instance, when a man is said not to do certain things, his answer will be, "I will do what I like. Surely I can do with my own life." But in reality, the man who sins does not do what he likes, but he does what his pleasures like. And this is true with the people who are addicted to various things. They are not free, but they are dominated by their passions. Today, we are called to become the disciple of Jesus. because His grace is a perfect freedom. I would like to share with you points from Father Ashil OP about freedom in four senses. First, freedom from fear. He will always walk in the company of Jesus. And when Jesus is with us, we need not to fear. Second, freedom from self. Many times we say, I can't change myself. I have tried so many things. It's impossible. But the presence of Jesus can bring change in our lives. Freedom from others. Many times we say what people think or what people will say about us. But when Jesus is with us, we have to fear no one. Discipleship helps us to break the chains of sin, which we with our own power cannot break it. It might be our patience, our habits, our weakness, but with the grace of God, we can do it. So let us surrender ourselves to Jesus, become His disciples, that He can set us free from all kinds of slavery to sin and death.